Good evening, black people and all allies fighting for black liberation, black prosperity, and black joy. I'm Charles Blow, and welcome to Prime. Texas Republicans have had a hell of a week, and it's only Tuesday. Governor Greg Abbott outlawed vaccine mandates through an executive order yesterday, telling private businesses that they cannot require their workers or customers to be vaccinated. This, of course, comes as Texas nears 70,000 COVID deaths and continues to outpace the national rate. American and Southwest Airlines said earlier today they would not comply with the governor's anti-mandate mandate, citing federal health requirements. But Abbott's executive order outlines that violators will face a $1,000 fine, which will remain in effect until the state legislature can pass a law to cement it. The ban covers any person who objects to vaccination, quote, for any reason of personal conscience based on a religious belief or for medical reasons, including prior recovery from COVID-19. The Texas House of Representatives also convened today to debate the Senate-approved redistricting map that weakens black and brown voting power in the state, even though people of color were responsible for 95% of the state's population growth. Is expected to pass in the GOP-led chamber, after which it lands on Governor Greg Abbott's desk for signing. Earlier, I sat down with Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, whose district was combined with Representative Al Green's district in the redrawn map, pitting the two black congresspeople against each other. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Tell us a little bit about what's happening in Texas with the redrawing of the maps, the congressional maps. It looks like you and Representative Al Green are now in the same seat vying for the same Congress seat.
Well, I've never seen such an effort to destroy the 18th Congressional District, historic district, and joined by the district of my colleague, Congressman Green, in the 9th Congressional District. These districts are storied in historic district, what we call black opportunity districts. And in fact, the courts protected them in the 2011 decision, the last redistricting court decision that has not been overturned, that both the 9th and the 18th were protected districts. But without any knowledge, less than 10 days ago, maps came out that put Al Green and Sheila Jackson Lee in the same district. Never were we consulted. Never did our Republican friends, colleagues, ever call us. And it has been a seismic and devastating blow to the posterity of black people in Texas. The largest population of African Americans post the census are now in Texas. The largest state is Texas. 2 brand new districts came about because of black, Hispanic, and Asian voters. We achieved no new districts, and they zeroed out the black districts. This is, Charles, Barbara Jordan, Mickey Leland, Craig Washington, and this is the People's District. The history of Barbara Jordan, who in fact would not have won had it been not been for the 1965 Voting Rights Act, where she and Andy Young went to the United States Congress, the first out of the Deep South since Reconstruction. And finally, it would not have been able to be saved had it not been for continuous battles under the 1965 Voting Rights Act. My district, in fact, that I sit in today, and that I've had the privilege of sitting in since elected in 1995, have been all drawn under the Voting Rights District. We have never been able to get a state-drawn district. And for these map draws to get an outside contractor to consult only with Republicans to ensure their districts were correct, and as well to not engage us, and to make sure that these historic districts were completely destroyed. Third Ward, Texas Southern University, the downtown, which historically connected us to the Fifth Ward, and they're all centers where black folk had their history. This is where we were. And right. This is what has been done to us and to my good friend, colleague Al Green, whose district has also been manipulated.
Let's drill down a little bit about federal legislation, the lack thereof right now, at least at this point, and how the judiciary figures into this. Let me read you something here. An analysis by the Texas Tribune found this: though whites only make up 39.8% of Texans, they are the majority voters in nearly 60% of the state House maps. They are also the majority in 65% of Senate maps, and they are the majority in 61% of proposed congressional districts. How can this be legal?
It is illegal. It is racial gerrymandering. And let me say this, I'm going to be a peacemaker. I'm going to ask my good friends, my constituents, to be an initial peacemaker. Since I took off today to come to Washington, we got an announcement, unbeknownst to us, that the House, of which we look to for relief, is going to do at the beck and call of the governor our congressional maps tomorrow. While we are in here in Washington, D.C., we're on fire. That means that they're going to put the maps on the floor of the House and vote on the Senate map or whatever we can put forward. We have a map, but we were under the impression that it would be a week to 10 days before it would come up. We have to sign up to speak by 10 p.m. tonight. And we are dealing with racial gerrymandering. And so here is the plea, here's the inquiry. What was the purpose? What did you gain when we have maps that would keep all your incumbents, all your Republican incumbents, but keep the core districts that have been representing diverse groups, Hispanics, Anglos, Asians, but yet have the opportunity for people who have been denied the vote for 100 years after Reconstruction? We did not have the opportunity from the Deep South to have any representation in the United States Congress. So here we are again, tearing us out, tearing us apart, and demanding that we be speaking on this tomorrow. So we have no answer, and here's our plea. To the chairman of the Redistricting Committee, please stand, as you said you would, to look at a different map to make the African Americans in our community whole, along with the diverse population, because we have no answer. There is no legal answer. The Constitution says the 15th Amendment guarantees your right to vote. Charles, that has been denied.
So let's look forward. Where does this go from here? That you said, as you were right, 95% of the growth in Texas came from people of color. But the people of color, the influence, political power of those people is shrinking. The Republicans added 2 majority white districts. The majority Hispanic districts went down from 8 to 7, and now there are 0 majority black districts in the state of Texas. Where does this go if they rush this through? Even if Congress passes pre-clearance again under the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, it would be too late because it would have already happened. It wouldn't be able to be pre-cleared.
Well, as you well know, there's a House bill and now there's a Senate bill that's introduced. My desire that they have not taken out the provisions that we have that says the law is retroactive under Section 2. We will have to fight, but we will have to depend upon the law of the federal courts that ruled in 2011 that have not been undermined, that we are protected districts. I'm going to ask for civility in the House. I'm going to ask my Republican colleagues that they would not stop the fixing of the 18th and the 9th. And I'd also ask my diverse colleagues to work with us who are in other communities, Anglo, Hispanic, African American, Asian. Let us work together to get Hispanic districts that do not implode and blow up and tear apart the 18th, stripping us apart by taking the 3rd Ward downtown and other areas out when there could be a solid district made Hispanic and we can create another one. Let us work together. So the next steps are this: to work with the House of Representatives right now. I'm talking about the House, the State House right now, that is actually on the floor debating our bills right now as I was flying up to Washington. Secondarily, to see whether or not there'll be a conference if it's a different map from the Senate map. And then making sure that we have all the legal armor and asking the United States Justice Department to stand with us against racial gerrymandering. This is not about Republicans and Democrats. This is about representation, where you take politics out and you put representation in. We have no representation when you implode the 18th Congressional District, the mother district, right, Barbara Jordan's district, and the 9th Congressional District of Congressman Al Green.
So let me squeeze in a question about Governor Abbott's continued attack on abortion in that state. You know, last night, I guess it was, he mused in response to a question about abortion pills, over-the-counter pills, and whether or not he might be able to make those illegal as well. What do you make of this continued assault on women's rights to choose and govern their own bodies?
Charles, thank you for that very much. And as I answer your question, let me slide in the midnight order that is to prohibit anyone, private or public, from issuing a vaccine mandate in the state that had over 1 million cases and almost 100,000 deaths, and still we have hotspots in the state of Texas. So that order came in the midnight hour. In addition, this driven bill by people who misunderstand a woman's body that should not be intruded upon by the government. That is what Roe v. Wade was about some decades ago. That is what the 9th Amendment is about, your right to privacy under the Constitution. This bill was offered to stop a woman from governing her own body, stop her from consulting with her provider, stop her from consulting with her family, and with her faith leader, and putting her in the back alleys of America. We are fighting. We passed the Roe v. Wade bill here. I will be introducing with a friend and colleague in the Senate the Stop the Vigilante Stalking bill that would stop any woman from accessing health care and abortion rights. And I am a no mandatory minimum. I believe in criminal justice reform, but that person will be held under federal law, under federal stalking law, criminally liable for if you are interfering with her health access and her right to an abortion. But can you believe we have a bill that takes us back to the slave moments of bountyism, where you are paid to get a human being? So you are paid to follow a woman and see who is taking her, who is taking her in to get a procedure. Is outrageous. And we have suffered in Texas. Poor women, Black women, Hispanic women, young women cannot get anywhere because the women who can have been flooding into Oklahoma and other places. Look at that, Oklahoma. That is not a bastion of liberality, but they understand the Constitution and the 9th Amendment.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Charles, we're in a fight for our life. This is a national issue. If they gerrymander racially in Texas, it is going to spread across the nation with Republican legislatures not beating us at the ballot box, but snatching away, just like the big lie, snatching away these districts right from under our constituents. We've got to stay in the fight. Thank you for giving me the opportunity of being here today.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.